Welcome. It's our A Course in Miracles series, and today we're on lesson 154. I am among the ministers of God. So, have you let go of some of the defenses that you were putting up to against the truth, denying your strength, welcoming weakness? Have you been letting that go? And because you have a function here, a function that when you allow that power to flow through, when you allow what you are, it will effortlessly unfold. And that is, you are a minister of God, a light of the world, and salvation is your only function here. So, as you allow this to be, you will start to get the message, get the download, get the message that you're going to be delivering to exactly who you're supposed to deliver it to, exactly where, exactly when. And your part is in heaven. You are part of heaven, and that is all that exists in truth. So, as we wander through this illusion with those who are still very convinced that it is real, and even we may still get a little bit distracted, and we still may be valuing some things that are valueless. As we continue to let go, we will get to experience the joy of the ministry of God in ways not conceived as the world conceives them, but in truth. So we'll look at some of the resistance to how could I be a minister of God? Me? Well, is there still any idea that you're somehow sinful or unworthy? I mean, we've been told again and again that sin doesn't exist. None of that's real. And yet there could still be some sense that, but me? How could I be God's son? How could I be a minister of God? Well, we'll just bring up any more of that resistance and let it go. And then um, the resistance to completely turning over this body, this mind from the illusions of the world, to just let God do it. We don't have to worry about how this delivery of our messages happens. We just let go and let God. We get to be in this joyous game that has been laid out. So thank you for being here, and let's go ahead and do some releasing. Lesson 154 from the Course in Miracles workbook. I am among the ministers of God. Let us today be neither arrogant nor falsely humble. We have gone beyond such foolishness. We cannot judge ourselves, nor need we do so. These are but attempts to hold decision off, resistance, and to delay commitment to our function, resistance. So it's not our job to judge our worth, nor can we really know what role is best for us. Can you notice? Have you been judging your worth? Whether you're like good for the job, bad for the job, God has you doing? Is there still any sense of like some kind of unworthiness or not being good enough or weakness? It's okay. The idea with this is to bring that up, to release it, to let it go. So I am a minister of God. I'm God's son, but there's still some resistance to these ideas, even if I've accepted them in truth. They're probably true. They are true. Is there any resistance left? And that's any feeling that's coming up other than love and joy, really, with this idea that you are God's son his minister, his voice. And could you allow any of that energy up that would delay your function? Could you feel that feeling? Just let that dark cloud of energy come to light and evaporate. Could you let go of any falsity, any judgment of your worthiness to be your function? Would you let go? When could you let go and walk happily along, committed to your function? And there's no rush. We want to allow all this resistance, all this falsity to come up, to be enlightened so that we can go on lightly, happily. I am among the ministers of God. You are among the ministers of God. A very happy job. And yet there is sometimes some lingering sense, oh, how, 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 there's some resistance. How could I be? What do I do? Can you notice any resistance to just accepting your function, accepting heaven, accepting the sonship, accepting your Father? Any resistance? Maybe not. Though if there is any, that's good. We want to bring that up. We want to enlighten that. Let it up. Feel it. Oh, any sense of unworthiness, any lingering doubt. How does that feel? Could you allow it up? Bring it up. Just a feeling. That's all. Could you feel it? Could you welcome the darkness up so that it can be enlightened? So that you can discover it never was. Just feeling through it, sitting with it for but a moment. And could you release it? Would you release it? You don't have to. Just would you? When could you release? And, well, as a messenger, do you write the message or do you just deliver it? Now, this lesson says you're not the one who writes the message, you just deliver it to the person whom it's for, when it's for. And in the doing of this, you get the message. In the giving of a gift, you receive it. So, can you notice if there's any sense you need to figure out what the message is and who it's for. As fulfilling your function, is there any wanting to plan or prepare or write the message, figure out what to say and to whom and when? You'll be told. Can you notice any resistance to the perfect message at the perfect time when it is to be? Any planning, any questioning what the message is or who it's for? And that's okay. Could you just notice how it feels? Any doubt or any trying to figure it out? What God will do with you? And could you simply allow that energy to come up, however that feels behind those thoughts? And could you let that feeling run? Just let it be there, shining light upon it, wherever it seems to be in the field, whatever it seems to be, whatever that feeling, could you just shine upon it? Look at it, notice it. And could you surrender trying to figure it out? Just turn that over to God. You'll know when you know. Would you surrender any attempt to figure out what the message is or who it's for? Turn that over to God. Nothing you need to worry about, my son. And when could you surrender the trying to figure out the message or who it's for or when it's to be delivered? Turn that over to God. Let go and let God handle that. You are among the ministers of God. Could you let go and let God? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. Because I want to know. Want to know the message. Want to know who it's for. You might be told. You might be. But this energy of wanting to figure it out or plan for its delivery and how to orate it in some masterful way is a subtle denial that it's just going to happen through you, in you, from you. So could you just notice any energy of resistance or denial that God's got you, has the message, will speak through you, to whom it's for, in divine perfection? Any resistance or denial of that, it's just a feeling. So if you can ignore the thoughts and just feel that feeling, bring it to light without judging or moralizing about it, stacking guilt on it. Who hasn't wanted to know what's going to happen when it's going to happen? It's okay. And could you just allow that feeling up, sitting with that feeling, giving it just a bit of attention, just long enough to discover it doesn't exist? And could you let it go? Would you let go of any denying or resisting God having this perfectly set up for you? Nothing to figure out. When could you let go of denying God's got you, the message, and where it's going, and that's happening? Oh, maybe that lightens and goes. Maybe there's some more. But you just keep releasing, keep letting go of the energy of delay of your function, of distraction. For you are among the ministers of God. That's a nice job. And your only job, the salvation of the world, the walking with God, the following Him. He'll show you if you let Him. And that requires your voice. That requires, it might require this body, these hands and feet to move that voice around. And the mind. This also is something that will be utilized in your ministry. So, is there any wanting to control that voice, that body, that mind? You're going to do it apart from God or what you really are. Again, this is the ego's grasping its last stand. So, is there any wanting to control this voice, God's voice, this body, God's body, this mind, God's mind? Any wanting to control it? Any wanting to manage it? There's nothing wrong with that. Just could you notice how it feels to want to control rather than give? Rather than let go? Could you allow that energy of wanting control over the voice of God, the body of God, the mind of God? It's okay, nothing to judge or moralize about. It can take quite a bit of letting go to just let God have what's His. That's letting you have what's yours, by the way. Same thing. But that ego, which believes in separation, oh, no, can't just let go and let God, can't just let God use my voice, can't just let God use this body, can't just let God use the mind. So just notice any of that energy of wanting control over this ministry, over this function. And could you give that up? Let it go. Yes or no's fine. You're free. Would you give it up though? Give up wanting control to have what you really are? Got it. It's under control. When could you give up wanting control or the sense of being out of control? That feeling. And you are among the ministers of God. Oh, and sometimes there's been people that want to control God. And want to use God to their own egoistic ends. And there's nothing wrong with that. Well, in non duality. Could you just acknowledge anything in yourself that would want to control God's voice for your own egoistic furthering of illusion in the world and attachment to it? Control this body. Any wanting to control this body, any wanting to control this mind to some egoistic, illusionary purpose. And this is something that it's okay to be honest about. It's okay to open up the subconscious and let up any of this darkness that's been hiding in there, just opening it up and noticing any of this wanting to control behind those thoughts. Just a feeling, just some energy. And could you feel it more? Let this energy run. Let it run. Let it run. Just shining light on that darkness. Just by looking at it, noticing it. And could you surrender wanting control? Give it up. Turn it over to God. God who created you like himself and shares everything with you. How could one fear to let this go? Well, just misperception, that's all. And there may be some resistance to letting go of wanting control. So just would you let go of wanting control? Just would you? You don't have to. When could you? Surrender, give up, wanting control. And allow everything to happen. As you go forth, you can practice giving him what you have. Giving up ego, illusionary control for power. You are among the ministers of God, so could you practice giving him what is his, what he would have? Your voice, this body, this voice, this mind, this direction, this message. How much will you practice giving him? How much will you let go and let him? How much you stand to inherit everything that is in ministering for him, which is not different than your ministry. So you are among the ministers of God, and you have the means by which to recognize you are free. Could you release any further resistance or denial or delay of your function, this holy ministry? The next couple of lessons will really tune into who is guiding us, who is walking with us, what that power is. And those are going to be recordings because I'm actually facilitating an event this weekend. So those will be recordings, but they are still going to post at the same time. So feel free to check in with those, or please do check in with those if you like. And it's a joy to get to walk with y'all on this path. We walk as one, as the ministers of God. Thank you, brothers, sisters. Same thing. Have the best day ministering.